Our next video is about equations of lines. So first, before we do anything else, I'm going to give you a few important formulas. You do need to memorize number 1 and number 2. And I think you actually already know number 1. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your intercept. And by intercept, I mean the y-intercept, by the way. The second important one is point-slope form. And that is written as y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And in that one, my m is still my slope. But the other thing about this one is that it actually passes through the point x1, comma y1. The last important two things are a vertical line and horizontal line. So a vertical line is always going to be written as x equals any constant number. So I'm going to call it a. And a is just going to be a constant, which is just a plain old number. And the vertical or the horizontal line is going to be written as y equals a constant. I'll just call it b. So it can be any number. Y equals, can be like y equals 5, y equals 3, y equals -1. Same thing with vertical lines. It can be x equals 5, x equals 20, x equals -10. Any of those are acceptable lines for those. So we're going to do an example that involves both point-slope form and slope-intercept form. We're going to write the equation of the line that passes through -1, 3 and has slope 5. So in point-slope form, this is actually very easy. So you have the formula, but I'm going to rewrite it just for the sake of this problem. And in this case, we have x1 is -1, y1 is 3, our slope is our m, which is 5. We are just going to write this as y minus 3 equals 5 times x. Since we have minus x1, and x1 is negative, it's going to become plus 1, and that is my answer in point-slope form. That one's nice and easy. Slope-intercept form, there are actually two ways to do it. I'll show you both methods. And you can choose which is best for you. I honestly don't care which one you use. You'll find they both take the same amount of time. Some people like the method 1, some people like method 2. Just make sure that you, on a test or quiz, show your work, and it doesn't really matter to me which way you do it, though, as long as you show your steps. So method 1 is you start by writing it in point-slope form. Then, to get it into slope-intercept form, which you might remember is y equals mx plus b, you must solve for your y. We do that by distributing this 5 to the stuff in the parentheses. Then we move the 3 over, and we get y equals 5x plus 8. So method 1, it's pretty quick. Method 2 is also pretty quick. Just use whatever one you like better. So for our second method, we are going to avoid using point-slope form altogether and just start right away with slope-intercept form. We don't know our intercept, but we know our slope. And we also know a point that's on our line. So I'm going to start by substituting in that slope that I know, which is 5. Put that in for m. Then I can find my b, my y-intercept, by substituting in the point. In the end, I get 3 equals -5 plus b. Just move over the 5. I end up getting b equals 8. Do not just stop there, or otherwise you'll get the problem wrong, because we're looking for the equation, which is y equals 5x. Now I substitute the b in, plus 8. Either way works. You can use both if you want to. Make sure that you did it right. That also is a good way to do it, but it's your decision. So I'm going to use the same directions. We're going to find the equation of the line. Whenever I don't ask you to give me a form, I always want you to do it in slope-intercept form. So you're always going to do it in y equals mx plus b form. So I want you to find the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. Now, a little trick I'm going to give you is that whenever you see 2 points, you almost always are going to have to use the formula for slope. That's really the only formula that we have that uses both of those 2 points, so that's generally what you're going to do for those. So I'm going to call this one x1, y1, this one x2, y2. Doesn't really matter which one you put as 1 and 2. And I'm going to go ahead and do 9 minus negative 3 over negative 1 minus 5. That's going to give me 12 over negative 6, and that gives me a slope of negative 2. I'm not done, but I have a good start. Now, I like method 1 that I did on the previous slide, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to find my point slope first. Here's the formula again, just so you have it. You don't have to write it if you don't want to. And even though I've listed 5, negative 3 as x1 and y1, I can still use the negative 1, 9. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my negative 1, 9. I get y minus 9 equals my slope, my m that I just found, negative 2 times x minus negative 1. Which actually, if you want, you don't even need to do this step. You can just write it as x plus 1. From there, I am going to distribute. That gives me y minus 9 equals negative 2x minus 2. I move over my 9, and I get y equals negative 2x plus 7.